I've been shocked by how undemocratic the Democratic Party can be.
Tell me more, what do you mean by, I don't disagree with you necessarily, but what do you mean by that?
By putting their foot on the scales to get, make sure that Hillary Clinton comes out of the thing, or make sure that, that they're listening to that anger about the way that even the ACA, quite frankly, struck me as a very conservative.
You mean because it didn't have a public option in it?
Correct. That it didn't address the very thing that was causing the foundational upset. If I were to break this down narratively, what I think the Democrats have forgotten is government may not be perfect, but it's the only thing large enough to offset multinational corporate exploitation and corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't act like that's urgent and that affects people's lives, then so if the big policies that we make are billions more dollars to insurance companies that we think are fucking people over left and right for their healthcare, so isn't that part of why people lost faith?
Yeah. So yes, I think we're saying, well, I'm trying to say something similar, which is this.
Boom, boom.
Which is Democrats just lost everything. They control nothing. They control, they don't control the House. They don't control the Senate. They don't control the White House, and they don't control the Supreme Court. So now is the time to break some shit, right? And break some China.
They do control the email lists that continue to ask for money.
Well, that's true.
They still have that.
Trump wants to get Letitia James and Alvin Bragg.
Yes, this is a long legal battle. I don't know if Letitia James was actually ready for this. We have seen her vibrating since they wanted to the Letitia James thought going after Trump won't stop. Now, this is coming in. I'm actually glad that these people should be held accountable. When I look at what she did to Trump, and she is still under investigations for what she accuses Trump of doing. In fact, let me not go into that because that is actually a different segment for another day. I read through the article today pertaining to what is going on. This lady is in trouble. Yes, if you don't know, last week the Justice Department asked a federal judge to immediately strike down sanctuary policies in Illinois and Chicago, arguing state and local officials are an obstacle to the federal government enforcement of the immigration laws and discriminate against federal immigration enforcement. Bondi on her first day in office also froze all DOJ funding for 60 days to so-called sanctuary jurisdictions from New York to California. In 2023, those laws enforcement grant to New York City alone amounted to more than 1.5 billion, according to Center for Immigration Services, a consecutive non-profit research organization. The Justice Department had been expected to fork over more than 8 billion in funding to cities agencies in fiscal year 2025.
Trump wants to get Letitia James and Alvin Bragg. That's what this story is all about. Nothing else there. He went after Illinois because he wants to get Pritzker. Hates him. And the way to do that is to deny the states of Illinois and New York the federal grant money. The New York Post reports today $8 billion is going to get held up by the Justice Department that would have flowed into New York State, which is running an astronomical deficit here. Okay? So the easiest way to do this is to file civil suits against the governor and the attorney general. Then the question was, why is the mayor of New York left out? Because he doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. Trump wants to get Letitia James. Hochul is just an ornament. He doesn't have any bad feeling toward Hochul, Trump. But Adams, the deal that was made, I don't know what Adams is giving Trump. I have to tell the audience up front. I don't know, and I don't use anonymous sources, but I have gotten call after call after call. that said, and all of these people have agendas who are calling it. They all have agendas, all right? And they're saying that Adams knows where the bodies are buried with James and Bragg. Just throwing it out for your consumption. I'm not reporting it to be true, but it kind of makes sense, right?
Well, it's kind of weird that, like, you can say he has no power, but he's in charge of the city. And when they went after Pritzker in Illinois, they named Chicago and they went after the mayor. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going after the city of Chicago, you name the mayor.
No, Johnson and Adams have no power whatsoever. None. They do what they're told to do. The real power lies in the state legislature. Now, in both Illinois and New York, the state legislature gives the big middle finger to Homeland Security. Says blank you. Maybe Anderson Cooper could articulate it a little more than I am by using some vernacular. But that's what's happening. And the Trump administration knows that these mayors, this is like the utility infielder on the New York Yankees who plays maybe 3 innings a week. These guys have no power. They do what they're told to do. The big power is Newsom in California. Newsom's next. Hey, Gavin, they're coming for you. Pritzker's going to get destroyed, and Trump will bring down, and I'm going to predict it here, he will bring down Letitia James and Alvin Bragg because they went on a crusade to destroy him. And President Trump is not a forgiving man.
Ms. Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to...
New York Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg joined a new group of 8 Democrat-fueled Trump plans to punish by revoking any access to classified information and barring their entry to federal facilities. It could hamper them in carrying out their official duties by prohibiting them from entering courthouses, prison, and law enforcement facilities in Foley Square in Lower Manhattan, including... I don't want to proceed to read this. Yesterday, about 18 crazy lawyers stood up with Letitia James, Sue Elon Musk, and the Trump administration for fighting for the American people. At a certain point, what I've seen within the space of 48 hours, it is extremely...
What does the response of the Trump administration send to any federal bureaucrats that are thinking about obstructing the president's agenda?
They will be held accountable. The president is signing executive orders daily, and he expects all officials across the administration, regardless if they are a political appointee or if they are a career bureaucrat, to adhere to the will of the American people and the 77 million Americans who reelected President Trump. He is here for a reason, and he is focused every day on implementing.
These people would change their mind are suddenly realizing that they took a good decision. And Trump is doing just exactly what he promised. They have not seen a change. Trump said, I will not do this, and he is not doing that. I want to count the things Trump has done, what he promised, following just one after another. What Trump has done in office for 2 weeks, even the Biden administration did not meet that.
How do you feel like it's been going, doing the show through the Trump era?
I think it has been terrible and fun. I think I get a lot of enjoyment.
At the same time, though, when you compare what appears to be quite a bit of transparency in this new Trump administration versus the lack of transparency we received during the Biden administration, well, I mean, optically speaking, I think most Americans are going to have this sense that, you know, Trump is telling the truth.
So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced that the Associated Press has been banned from the Oval Office.
As press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
Are Black Africans. Yet only 4% of those Black Africans own the land.
Yeah. Thank you guys for always being there sharing out my videos. I don't want to make it long. If you see clips behind here, this is for the algorithm. Someone asked me, is it helping your channel? Yes, it is helping the channel. If it was not helping, I would not put.
Mind-boggling that he would be shutting down PEPFAR.
A bully and a thug who is the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government in the White House. We're seeing right now with this whole U.S. aid thing, where they're uncovering massive amounts of corruption.
And also, I got to say, don't you agree? I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
To her.
No. The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. So and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are somebody in policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking history, remember it.
As a country about James.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor.
Watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today,
the biggest loser on Team Chiefs, literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. And then to the left was Donald Trump. Those are boos.
Well, the Super Bowl is officially underway.
Trump had what he described as a lengthy and highly productive call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And what